Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Adrienne. I post videos every week on all things investing and personal finance, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my best and worst purchases of 2020. And I will preface this by saying that I am like a very careful spender. I'm definitely naturally a saver, and so anytime I do make any sort of purchase, I do it very thoughtfully. So there are a few things in my life that I really just regretted buying, but I did dig up some purchases that I made that I regret spending on, and some that I really am glad I did make. Also, let me know down in the comments what your guys' best and worst purchase of 2020 was. With that said, I'm gonna be starting with some of the worst purchases I made of 2020. So the first worst purchase I made was earlier in the year. I was in a wedding and I ended up wearing a dress that I already had because I had a dress that fit the style of the wedding and the bride and the groom were okay with it. I ended up getting the dress hemmed, and I'm fairly good at sewing. I have a sewing machine. I can hold my own when it comes to sewing and doing like minor alterations. I don't know, I just wanted the experience of like a professional doing it because I didn't think I could do as well. It was a really nice dress and I didn't want to like ruin it. Not that I thought I was going to ruin it, but I got it hemmed and it was $80, guys. $80 to hem this dress. I think I was just lazy and I didn't want to do it on my own, but it was $80 to get it hemmed. That's insane. And then I also, at the same time I was there, I was wearing these jeans which were like super long on me, and I got them hemmed also. And I don't know why, because I could have done it myself, and getting these hemmed was $16. So between those two things, I could have bought like a new pair of pants and done the hemming myself. Like just looked it up online how to hem jeans, but I was lazy. The next thing is, you guys probably don't know about this at all, but there is a whole community on YouTube of planners. This sounds really silly, but like years ago, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago when I was in college, I was obsessed with planners and planner stickers. So I would decorate my planner with stickers. It's kind of like scrapbooking your life, like scrapbooking like the little moments every day, and I loved doing it. I mostly loved doing it because I loved looking back. I have one of my planners when I was like obsessed with doing it, and it has like all these memories, all these small memories that I just like looking back on. I kind of had a falling out with doing it, and I was like, I'm gonna do it again, and I bought all of these stickers. Granted, I bought a lot of them like secondhand because if you guys don't know this, planner stickers are very expensive. Some people who do it like insane, they'll buy like 1 week's worth and it's like $20 per week. I was able to get a lot of these on sale or secondhand, or I found them on Facebook groups. And they're really cute, and I want to use them. Like I want to do that kind of just like memory plan. I think maybe because I moved and I didn't know where half of my stuff was most of the time. I would like to get back into it, but right now all of those stickers are just sitting in my closet because I don't know what to do with them. But this is kind of my reminder that maybe I should do it, because for me it's like very therapeutic, like reflecting on my week, everything. The third thing is, and I feel like everyone can relate to this, is quarantine supplies. So I don't know about you guys, but I made multiple trips to Walmart or the grocery store just stocking up on random like things that I probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. I spent honestly probably like $400 just like stocking up on food supplies, dried goods like lentils I still have in my pantry, things like that. On top of that, I bought all of that stuff when I was here, and then I went home with my family to California, and most of that stuff stayed here, so I didn't even use it. And then when I came back 6 months later, I still had all of it, and so I just feel like that was a waste. But I feel like everyone can relate to that because of COVID. The fourth thing, and this is actually kind of cool, I've always loved like fitness watches. I started off with one of the basic Fitbits when they came out, I think in like 2014, and I had that for a while, and then I upgraded to Fitbits. I had a watch on it and I really liked that, and I didn't destroy it, but like the screen was cracked. I wore that through well. I could have kept using it, but it was just really worn out, and so my friend convinced me to buy an Apple Watch. I think for me, I always want to go like against what everybody else is doing, but I ended up finding a really good deal on an Apple Watch through American Express. They were having a deal with Amazon where you could get like 20% off your purchase. So I found an Apple Watch. I ended up getting it for like $109. I wore it for 2 weeks and I was like, no, this isn't for me. I felt like I had another phone on my wrist, and I already don't really love being on my phone. So I was like, no. I ended up selling it for $190. And so I gained money from that. If you've been around for a while, you know I was in Hawaii. I was visiting a friend during COVID, and she had this Garmin Vivo Active watch. I have the Vivo Active 3. I think they have like a Vivo Active 4 now or 5. But anyways, she had a Garmin Vivo Active and I really liked it. So I ended up using the money that I made from selling the Apple Watch and I bought this watch. So it ended up working out well. But for me, the Apple Watch wasn't for me. The last thing I regret purchasing was really any sort of Instagram ad product. There were so many things, I think because I was just so bored at home that I was like, oh, I'll try that. There are a few that were really good and there were a few that are not so good. There was actually one, it was a weighted jump rope. Like during COVID, working out helped me keep my routine. And I saw this YouTube channel, they're called the Jump Rope Dudes, and they use weighted jump ropes to do workouts. And they use these jump ropes that, I kid you not, were like $200. And I really, at the time, wanted to get them, but I thought that was ridiculous. And so I didn't end up buying them, but I almost did. I almost bought a $200 jump rope. Some of the other things I tried were these Built bars. I don't have the bars anymore, but it came with these, which are like water flavor things. I don't know, but the bars were disgusting and I saw a bunch of hype on Instagram and other places and they were really gross. I don't have them anymore because I thought they were gross. I also got this protein. It tastes really healthy, like too healthy. I use this to make banana bread and I just feel like if you're going to eat banana bread, just like save your calories and eat real banana bread with chocolate chips. But this has 11 grams of fiber. One of the other things, and I actually really like these, are the Verb bars. I actually eat these a lot. I usually eat these pretty much every day before I work out because there is caffeine in them. There's 65 milligrams of caffeine. Hey guys, I am in the middle of editing this video right now and I did remember one thing yesterday that I wanted to include in this video, one of the purchases that I kind of regret doing. And that's kind of related to COVID, so it wasn't exactly my fault, but through my employer, which you guys know, I quit my job probably about a month ago. Through my employer, I was able to get what's called Commuter Benefits. And so basically I could allocate pre-tax money towards any commuter costs. So that would be like taking a train or a ferry if you take a ferry. I don't know what else is included. The metro, things like that. Oh, it also used to include Uber pools or Lyft pools. It included the Uber and Lyfts that you can take with other people. And that's primarily what I used it for. So I could use pre-tax money to take Ubers, which was like super, super awesome. And then when COVID happened, I think Uber and Lyft got rid of that option to take rides together with other people. I ended up having like this big chunk of money in my Commuter Benefits account and I can't really use it on anything. There's about $222 there right now. Also, because I quit my job, I just got an email that I have until like mid-April to spend that money, otherwise I'm gonna lose it. That really wasn't my fault and I obviously wasn't anticipating COVID happening, but right now that's $220 that I don't really know what to do with. But if you guys also have Commuter Benefits or you know of a creative way to use Commuter Benefits, like let me know, because if I don't use it, I'm gonna lose it. I'll use it on like whatever at this point. Let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas. So moving on to my best purchases. The first best purchase I made, it wasn't really one purchase, but that was any sort of travel I did during 2020. I know traveling during 2020 was very weary. I know a lot of people were scared and I did travel at the very beginning of COVID to California from the East Coast. I am constantly talking about the times I was in California or the times I was in Hawaii, the time I got to spend with my friend from college that I hadn't seen in several years because she's in the military, things like that. I was in Hawaii for 7 weeks. We just made so many memories together and I keep referring to those things. Like anytime I talk to people, I'm often talking about, oh, that time I was in Hawaii or I did this when I was in Hawaii. It was such a cool experience and I am so glad that I got to go despite being in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Also last year I went to Acadia National Park with my mom. That was really cool. Traveling for me, I make it a priority. If I spend money, it's probably on flights or trips or something like that. I would consider DC my home, but I spent last year more time away from DC than I did here. I think that says something. The second best purchase that I made makes no sense because most people would probably say it was their worst purchase, but that was my gym membership. So I go to a very, very small gym and during COVID, they went completely online. So I was working out online at the same time with like all the other people that I go to my gym with. And I know people by name that go to my gym. It was a very comforting thing to see people coming together during this really hard time, working out together, even though really we could be doing anything else. The third best purchase that I made was any sort of gift out of generosity that I bought or that I gave to somebody throughout the year. I always tithed to my local church. For me, it was giving 1/10 of my paycheck to my church. Also, there were random things throughout the year that I was able to give during such a hard time, but there were several times where just spending money on somebody else was just, it it blessed me that I was able to give something to somebody else. The fourth thing, this is a little bit of a turn, because I was like working out a lot. That was how I kept in like any sort of routine during COVID. And that is I fell in love, which I already did love Lululemon, but I really fell in love with Lululemon. I looked at my budget from last year. I spent close to $350 on Lululemon. If you go to Lululemon, that does not seem that bad because everything is really expensive, which means I didn't buy that many things. I do, however, I do get a discount. This is something you guys don't know about me, but I do teach golf on the side. I played competitive golf when I was younger, and so now I help teach at an academy. And so because I'm like technically a fitness instructor or a coach, I get a discount at Lululemon. Does that make it better? I don't know. The fifth best thing that I bought, probably one of my best purchases of the year, was my house. My house. So last year I bought my first home. I closed on September 16th, but this house was completely God's gift to me. Literally God's gift. During the time of COVID, interest rates were so low. Everyone was trying to buy a house. Once you put an offer in on a house, there's usually like several other offers, and that's exactly what happened with this house. I put an offer in. It's a long story short. I have a whole video on the story of how I got my house, but there were at least 5 other offers when I offered on my house, and I got it, and I didn't even have the highest bid. So yeah, if you want to go see that story, I will put it up here. On the same note, I ended up paying extra so that I qualify for an MCC. So an MCC is the mortgage credit certificate. I know in a lot of states in the country, you can qualify to get what's called a mortgage credit. Trying to make this simple, all of the interest that you pay on your mortgage, if you have a mortgage, you are allowed to deduct from your taxes. There's 2 ways you can save on your taxes. There are tax deductions and tax credits. Tax deductions are when you do your taxes, if you itemize your taxes, if you have donated money, you can deduct that from your taxes. It wouldn't make sense if you aren't over the standard deduction. That's probably getting too complicated. But between a tax deduction and a tax credit, you will always want to choose a tax credit if you can. So usually I would be able to write off 100% of the interest from my mortgage. I would be able to write that off on my taxes as a deduction. But by getting the loan that I did, I paid extra so that I could qualify for a mortgage credit certificate. And that mortgage credit certificate allows me to be able to write off 10% of all of the interest that I would get as a tax credit. So hopefully you guys are tracking with me. This is a whole other video. Basically between the two, a tax credit is more favorable. For me, the mortgage credit certificate to pay upfront was $800, which I calculated was how much I would be saving in the first year. And so every year after that, when I pay the interest on my mortgage, I will be saving money when I do my taxes. So basically just know, you can probably look it up, a mortgage credit certificate. If you are looking to buy a house, it's probably going to be worth it to pay upfront to have a loan that has a mortgage credit certificate because it will save you in the long run. The next purchase that I am glad I made, but I really didn't want to make, my AirPods. These little things. For the longest time, I was like, AirPods are stupid. They just look like little like white things out of your ear. At the end of last year during Black Friday, around that time, I ended up finding a really good deal on these. I ended up getting them for $89, I think, and they're normally like $120. I was talking to my dad and I was like, I really want them, but I don't want to pay for them. I think they're ridiculously priced. He was like, Adrienne, he was like, when was the last time you updated your phone? By the way, I have an iPhone 6S. He was like, when was the last time you updated your phone? And I was like, it's been a long time. And he was like, I think you can afford to buy AirPods. And I was like, you know what, Dad? You're right. So I bit the bullet and I bought myself some AirPods. And ever since then, they have been so great. So great. I love being able to listen to music when I'm out and about. It's so easy not having a cord. I do have Bluetooth headphones. Like I have a really nice pair of Bose like over the ear headphones that I like to wear on planes, or when I was in college, I wore them when I was studying. I would just be in the zone. But these are really nice also to just wear around the house. And I have realized I listen to more podcasts having these. And if anybody knows me in real life, you know how much music I play. So I'm either playing music in these or on a speaker. And the last purchase, which actually is a not purchase, was once I purchased my home, not buying furniture right away. I furnished my entire house pretty much for free. I had some furniture, but not a ton. Obviously not to furnish an entire house. I basically just waited. Once my friends and everyone started to find out that I was moving, a lot of people that I knew had furniture that they didn't want anymore, or that they had stuff in storage, or I ended up finding a few things off the free page on Craigslist. I found a really pretty marble coffee table table that actually has a crack in it, but I got it for free and you can barely tell that there's a crack in it. I got a side table for free on Craigslist. I got 2 of these shelves. This bed, this is like a day bed. This was actually my childhood bed. And downstairs I have like 2 couches that some people gave to me because they were moving out. I didn't buy furniture like right off the bat because I know furniture can be very, very expensive. I did buy one thing, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but in my kitchen there's like a bench. Well, when I bought the house, they had these 4 cushions on it and they were just very uncomfortable. I ended up looking at the tag and they were actually dog beds. They were dog beds that they use as cushions, and I was like, what the heck, why did they use dog beds? I started looking into purchasing a cushion for that size. It was 72 inches by 23 inches. I could not find a cushion anywhere. I couldn't find even individual cushions that would fit there. So I ended up buying a custom made cushion for that area, and that cost a whopping $423. $423, which I think is ridiculous, but at that point I really did want a cushion. I just thought it would bring together my entire kitchen, and it hasn't come in yet because it was custom made. Otherwise I would show you guys. I figured if that was the only piece of furniture that I was going to buy, I think it was okay. I furnished this entire place without spending any money. I was also thinking that cushion, because it's custom made, would stay with the house. So if I were to ever sell this house, that cushion would stay with the house. And I was talking to my dad at one point and he said anytime he's lived in a house, he's always wanted to leave it better off than he got it. And so he kind of considered that item as like leaving the house better off than when I got it. And so the cushion is like a removable cover that has a dense, nice foam. I can throw it in the wash, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to spray Scotch Guard on it because I'm not about to stain a $423 cushion. So those are my best and worst purchases of 2020. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, definitely go ahead and subscribe down below. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys. You're kidding me. Are you kidding me? I don't really know where I left off.